What's up, belly up? We come. We bring you. No, we don't bring you sports news. Not at this point. So, myself and Zach Mack in another week. Actually, I shouldn't say another week. We took off last week. We're kind of hit or miss right now. The sports season is put us through the ringer. So this week we gave you kind of another special edition. No sports. Maybe we'll wrap it in a little here, but we're gonna give you our top 10 movies. In the beginning, I thought it was top 10 sports movies. So I had this nice list, and I hit up Zach Mack, and he's like, dude, we said movies. And so I had to
You
render
said.
my.
You said. Now
I
we
know,
said.
I know.
You said.
So I had to render my results here a little bit, but before we get into it, Zach, how's things going, man?
Good man. No sports is depressing. I'm gonna be honest with you, but cooking more. I'm doing better. I'm saving money on gas, groceries. Like I'm not eating out as much because I can't. Um, I guess
Are we drinking more?
morally, yes, yeah. So I work from home, and God forbid, I hope they don't hear this, but I'm drunk by 2 o'clock every day. But yeah, I morally it's hard, but like financially it's great.
It is. It's I mean, it even comes to the point now where like I don't even channel surf at this point. It's hard to believe that sports are that impactful in your life. That like I mean, there's nothing outside of unless you're binging something on Netflix, which most people knocked a binge out in the first week or two in quarantine. There's absolutely nothing. So that's why we kind of came up with this top 10 list here of all time movies. Obviously, there's no rhyme or reason. Zach and I's list is going to be probably way off. I'm sure I'm going to miss some stuff. I know Zach's got the old notepad. I'm sure he's done some research, but I threw this together. But I mean, I guess before we get into this, Zach, is there anything? Speaking of binging, is there anything that maybe you and the lady or you yourself have binged lately? Netflix, Hulu, anything like that is worth noting?
Yeah. So we watched. I still got the challenge. You told me about the challenge, and that's still on my to do
Yeah,
list.
that
Um,
started last night, so new episode, anyways.
yeah. Uh, I've watched Westworld on HBO. The new season is out. She got me hooked on Westworld, so I don't know if any of y'all out there watch Westworld, but love that show. Um, Obviously Tiger King, which I know we might get to a little bit later, but watch Tiger King, watch Love is Blind, and my next to do is Ozark. I haven't watched any of it, and I know the new season's out and everyone's
Uh,
talking about it, but I gotta
oh, you
watch
haven't
it.
watched any of it, so
No.
yes, you gotta start from day one. You will you will be hooked. I'm on the final season, final episode. Going to knock that out tonight. Great show, but I'm glad you said Love Is Blind. What do you think about the old Jessica and Mark?
Jessica's a piece of shit. I also wanted to say Damien, I think, is a piece of shit as well. And I think that gets overlooked because how big of a piece of shit that Jessica is. But man, the thing is like if you watch the finale, like there's a finale where they all come back and they're like they rewatched it
Yeah,
themselves, and she's like, "Yeah, that's so hard to watch." Like, but I don't even believe her. I feel like she's watching it going like she probably didn't learn a thing, and she's 30 fucking
she's.
5 probably now.
I think what they say she's like a retail or like a district or some kind of manager. She rolls around in an Audi, so you know financially she's okay. She's kind of stuck up. She's pretty much had the pick of everything. Granted, she's never had that relationship that proposed to her. Um, but it is very funny and very cringeworthy watching her because there's so much about her that I mean, obviously she's easy on the eyes, so you want her to be, but then you just are like, man, like every time she opens her mouth, and then it's just episode after episode where she just gets smoked and is just sloppy drunk saying the most outlandish stuff.
Yeah, and she's so worried about the age gap, which is like, she's like, oh my God, I don't know how this person's going to feel about our age gap. And nobody ever gives a shit. And it's only ever her that cares about the age gap.
But
It's,
but don't you think like as bad as she is that Mark tried so hard, doesn't it make him like just maybe not just as
he was
bad,
a
but like
dumbass.
seriously, man, How long do you go on?
Yeah, come on. Like, there was red flags almost 4 times an episode.
But
I can't believe he stuck with her as long as he did.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take a genius, I guess, to see. I know the whole situation is to be proposed to. I don't know the gray areas or what the contracts look like or where they had to, to toe the line or whatnot. But there's no way in hell you see me on a show like that, let alone carrying anything out like that, and then standing at the altar when somebody that is not going to marry you tells you they're not going to marry you and having a breakdown, But who knows? We'll see. I know that show was filmed, I think, like 2018, 19, something like that. So it's been a little bit. I think that, like you said, the reunion was like, I think, a year to the day. Like, they've already been married to a year, and some of them that broke up are back together, and some of them are dating other people. But here nor there, if you've been living in quarantine, you haven't seen it, definitely suggest looking at it. It's another cringeworthy binge. You'll definitely get hooked. But let's get into this top 10 movies. Obviously, we'll start at 10, work our way down. No rhyme, no reason. We went through a lot of movies. Probably a lot of these, for me anyways, are actually all these are going to be within my era of being born. I didn't throw it back to anything. Some sports, some action. I mean, a little bit of everything. There's probably a lot that I left off the list, but these are the ones that really stood out to me. And probably my number one, you guys are probably going to tell me I'm an idiot, but that's fine. So without further ado, we will get to our What's Up, Belly Up top 10 movies. Not even in quarantine, but just top 10 between myself and Zach Mack. So Zach Mack, I'll let you lead the way at number 10.
My number 10 is Holes. Did you ever watch Holes?
No, I never heard of it.
What?
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, so Shia, I think it's based
you say Shia LaBeouf. Is that what you're saying?
Shia LaBeouf is in it. Yeah, bro, he's digging holes. I cannot believe you've never seen Holes. I promise you, in the comments, people are gonna rip you for not seeing Holes. I promise you. Stanley yelled at Zero. Zero is a main character in Holes. I am absolutely shocked you've never seen it. Whenever it's on TV, if I'm going through channels and I come across it, I don't switch off. That's why it makes.
We're taking Shia LaBeouf in this episode, so
I am. I thought first. I would have respected you not having Holes on your list, but not even heard of Holes, bro. I can't wait to hear your list.
So I was just gonna say, okay, so from your 10 to my 10, now this is laughable to where I'm going with this, and I'm gonna plug in the trilogy, or I guess I shouldn't say the trilogy, the series. I got Mighty Ducks in my top 10. I got them at number 10. Coach Bombay, you look at Goldberg nowadays, the meth head. Have you seen the pictures on TMZ and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
He's like 100 pounds, no teeth. But growing up, that was a guilty pleasure. The knuckle puck, everything about that screamed. I was born in '84, so everything about that was just something I want to emulate. When I grew up on Lake Erie. We played a lot of ice hockey, but more so played a lot of roller hockey. So really, really wanted to emulate those guys. It's hard to believe growing up with those guys and where it has taken us. It's still a mainstay. I mean, you've got an actual hockey team that dons the jerseys here and there. So it is a big thing. But we go from Holes at Zach Mack's number 10 to Mighty Ducks, my number 10. I can only imagine where this goes from here on. So where are you at with number 9?
Dude, Mighty Ducks is a good one. I like that. That's a good movie. I didn't even have it on my honorable mention. I feel bad, but number 9, I had King Kong. Jack Black King Kong.
King Kong. Okay, I can get behind that. I'll tell you right now, not on my list, but definitely entertaining. But what makes it? What? How's that top of your list?
It's another one of those that's hard to turn off if you got it on. I think it does so well from going to getting King Kong in the wild to he comes in and then all hell breaks loose when they have him like in society or whatever. I don't know what you would call it, but obviously, dude's a beast. He shows even he shows compassion towards the pretty lady, so it's relatable. It's everything you need. Jack Black's in it. It's just a great movie.
Right on. So again, totally different, opposite end. And actually, I may get roasted because this is only number 10 on my list. But I'm bringing on number 10. Give me a little Top Gun.
Number 9,
I'm going
bro.
Top
And
Gun.
dude, Top
Or
Gun
yeah,
was in
9.
my
I'm sorry, number
honorable
9.
mention. I left it off.
Ooh. So Top Gun, another movie where growing up, even as a kid, you're looking at these guys, man. There's nothing hotter than some guys on the beach sweating, playing some sand volleyball. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what makes it for me, right? Is that what's important?
Yeah, that is what's important. And the code names, like especially if you're growing up watching a Goose, Maverick, man, that's a class. I'm upset I didn't put it on my list now.
So yes, I remember growing up watching this. Like you said, Maverick Goose, Goose, him dying in the movie is a tragic scene after him playing Great Balls of Fire on the piano. But definitely growing up, being young, that was one of my first movies where I witnessed a death. I guess maybe that's why it sticks in my head. So rip out to old Goose out there. So, but moving on, number 8, Zach, what you got?
Number 8, my number 8 is 21 Jump Street. Have you seen it?
Ooh, yes, I have. That's a
Ah, I
good.
love it.
That's recent. That's a recent movie.
One of my favorite scenes, like of movies of all time, is when he mimics the girl and he's like, "We're not finger popping each other's assholes." I can't do it justice. Shit is Jonah Hill's fucking hilarious, dude. You can throw
That's
you can
definitely.
even loop 22 Jump Street. My name is Jeff. Like, loop them both in.
Dude, this is great, dude. Okay. You know what's funny is that totally brings me back to another movie that I left off my list. Actually, two of them, which I'll get to. I'll write those down as my honorable mention. But number 8, I've actually got another movie that probably rates pretty high on some other people's list. But I threw in The Matrix here. The old Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, all those. That was a movie that when it first came out, it was like one of those movies that was really long, but always gained your attention. It was one of the first movies really where like CGI, not really extensive, but you got them dodging bullets and stuff like that. Like the whole realm of the movie, there was a lot going on in the movie, and it was one of the first movies I think that came out that really gave you all that in an action movie. So I thought for number 8, I like the Matrix. Keanu Reeves, you got to throw him in your top 10. That guy, he's done a little bit of everything. Kind of at this point, he's kind of a little kooky, but I mean, hey, more power to the guy.
The Matrix is a good one. When I was brainstorming this with my girlfriend a little bit earlier, and I said, "Hey, I need top 10 movies. Like, can you brainstorm any ideas?" And she said, "Ooh, The Matrix for sure would be in my top 10." And it was the first thing that came to her mind. So that's a good one. I left it off. It was also in my honorable mention. And I have not seen all of them. Have you seen all of them?
You know what? I think I have, but the only one that sticks out is the first one. So
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it was a trilogy or something like that.
Yeah, the
Like
first
that.
one's the only one I've seen. I haven't seen the other ones.
So all right. So then moving into number 7, Zach Mack, where are you at with that?
Number 7 is my second favorite animated movie of all time, The Incredibles.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna drop it right now. I didn't list an entire animated movie on my list, but Incredibles, that is a good movie. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but I definitely didn't have any animated movies. So I, especially having a daughter now, flashback, any cartoon, anything that's on TV, that is one that we haven't put into the rotation at this point. So of all, I know we're only, at 7. So who knows what you got in your top 6, I guess. But what makes that stand out based off the? I mean, that was a big movie, obviously for Pixar and all that stuff. But really, of all the Pixar movies, what makes that really stand out?
I've always loved The Incredibles. To me, it was one of the movies that we had when I was growing up, like hard copy. And later in my childhood, so my family was always big into camping, so we go into camping trips in the summer. And later in my childhood, we had a car that played the DVD in the back. So we had The Incredibles on hard copy. I played it all the time. Would you care for more mimosa? Was always my go-to line. Loved it. the fact that they're a family and their name, people overlook their name. Like they're called the Incredibles. Like that's like there's no the Amazings or the Awesomes out there, but there's the Incredibles. They're cool. I like them. Dash is my favorite.
I dig it. I definitely dig it. So I'm gonna slide into my second, or I mean, I'm sorry, my seventh. And this one is I keep saying they're surprising. They're really not surprising, but I'm gonna have to go with the old Taylor Ricky Bobby. I like me some Talladega Nights right here at the number 7.
This is the first one you said that I'm like, shit, I forgot about this movie.
So Talladega Nights, Shake and Bake, Ricky Bobby, Sweet Baby Jesus. So many lines out of any movie that Will Ferrell is a part of. In general, I feel like, I honestly, to tell you the truth, once you got to this movie, this was like he did a lot of great movies. Most of his personalities that he plays, it seems like he plays the same in a lot of movies. That same kind of joking and stuff like that. But I think this is the one that really set him apart. Obviously, you have Elf and all of his other ones, Step Brothers, all that kind of stuff, which we may hear. But I really feel Talladega Nights was just something different. Especially we're a big race affiliate. We do a lot with Belly Up Racing. I got my Michael Self Sinclair Oil hat here, so definitely repping them. But Talladega Nights at number 7, Will Ferrell, he's got to make my list.
Bro, I'm looking at these 4 so far that we both listed, and that yours honestly looks stronger. Like if we put a vote, if we put them both up side by side, and we're like, whose is better? I think yours wins right now, and I'm upset about it. You mentioned Step Brothers, and I fucking forgot about Step Brothers. Anyways, I do have some Will Ferrell on my list. Are we moving on to number 6?
Number 6, where are we at?
This is my only classic. I also stayed away. I stayed away from like classic and war movies because I'm just not that into them.
Yeah.
But this is my only classic on the list, Wizard of Oz. I love The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
I watched it a million times when I was a kid. I watched it a million times when I'm an adult. I love that movie.
You know what? Honestly, that's the first one there that definitely I would have, if it was in my mind, I would have to squeeze it on my list because, like you said, it's just one of those movies that no matter what, no matter how many times you've seen it, you know the gist of it, you know what's going on. You can always have it in the background, and it still is. I remember as a kid being scared to death of the Wicked Witch.
Yes.
And being scared to death, like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? So that definitely rings well in the head. Definitely know what you're talking about. Can relate to that. But for my number 6, I'm definitely going a different route. I think this movie could definitely be in the top 5, but it's just outside my top 5. And I'm going to give the whole I guess set is Rocky. I got Rocky at number 6, but there are certain ones that stick out more so than others. But like I said, I got Rocky at 6, and you definitely gotta go with Rocky versus the old Russian. That's a great episode where the famous line, "I must break you." That's my greatest Russian accent there. But you got to have a little Stallone in your top 10 too. I mean, there's so many movies. He's like Schwarzenegger. He's 100 years old and he's been in 100 films. So how do you leave him off your list? But we'll see where we go from there. Rocky, I didn't get much of a rise out of you, so I think we'll pass that one up and we'll slide into the old 5. What you got, Zach?
My girlfriend suggested Rocky as well when we were brainstorming, but boxing movies never like.
Nope.
If I was gonna pick a boxing movie, it would have been Cinderella Man, but that's never here nor there. Number 5 for me is a movie that probably not a lot of people have heard of, but it's called Righteous Kill. And
I've heard of that one. Over Holes.
Yeah, it's got Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. It's a great movie. It was on Netflix when I watched it. I don't know if it still is. I actually hadn't heard of it until about probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. My girlfriend showed me the movie. I love it. I've watched it like 5 times since. I would suggest people to go watch it. It's a mind at the end.
Love it. I love how this is shaping up because I feel like you nail a number and you're this way, and then I'm totally this way. So for my number 5, you're talking De Niro and them, and then I'm rolling into some Rudy. I got number 5. We got Rudy, the feel good story, the true story, the old Rudy.
It's offsides.
I hate Notre Dame with a passion, but you can't not root for the guy. Like I said, a feel good story. I think everybody's seen it. If you haven't, you can find it somewhere, but I'm sure at this point you've seen it numerous times. It's in my top 5, maybe more so because of the name and what it's about, as opposed to how often you can really watch it over and over. But I got Rudy in my top 5. So as we're rounding out, or I guess down from our top 5, we're gonna slide into 4. Let's switch it up here. Let me start with the 4, okay, and then you'll follow me up. So this one here, I really, really struggled with putting at 4 because it could have been 3, it could have been 2, and it quite possibly could have been number 1 for me. So I got a little Boondock Saints.
I lost my virginity to Boondock Saints.
Oh my god, this is just getting better and better right now.
Dude, I'm not even lying to you. I never heard of this movie, and then I was in college. I was a freshman then. I slept with a softball player, and she said, "Have you ever heard of Boondock Saints?" I said, "What the fuck is Boondock Saints?" She said, "I'm gonna put it on." She put it on, and then we fucked, and that's how I lost my virginity.
Dude, are we gonna be able to air this and why your chick gonna watch this? Oh shit!
I'm just telling you the truth.
I mean, that's all that matters.
Still have not seen the movie, dude. I haven't seen the movie.
Your chick ain't even gonna let you watch it now. Oh my god.
That's a good one. Anyways. Tell me about it. What's it about? I don't even know. Tell me. I don't know.
Dude, you gotta watch it. I mean, I can see it's like the Irish mob. I mean, essentially, these guys they are the baddest of baddest men that don't zero fucks given, which clearly zero fucks were given when you watched it. But I mean, you definitely got to throw it on. You may not watch it with your lady at this point, and hopefully she never. This would be. I think if you watch this and she came in at this point, she would consider that cheating.
I never thought in my life I would hear about the Boondock Saints again, other than that night, bro.
Oh my god!
And here we are.
And you know what? To tell you the truth, that just made me think of some movies that I might have left off the list. And here I'm thinking, oh man.
Yeah, how many times do you lose your virginity?
Yeah, you know what? I'm still a virgin, and I got 2 kids. But anyways, let's slide into your number 4, and let's see how far off the path we are.
Yeah, number 4 is complete opposite spectrum. This is my number 1 animated movie, and it's Hercules. Have you ever seen Hercules?
Yeah, so we go from you losing your virginity to Boondock Saints to Hercules.
Bro, watch it. Bro, it is so I watched it as a kid and loved it. Meg, right? She's a damsel in distress. The little porky little fucker that's Hercules' friend. And then there's just so many funny lines in there you don't catch as a kid. If you watch it as an adult, he's like, someone call IXII, which, if you don't know, is 911 in Roman numerals. I didn't know that as a kid, bro, but I caught on to that when I watched it as an adult. Like, it's a hilarious movie.
Oh Jesus! I just feel like we can wrap it at this point. There's enough information, enough clout. This has been great already. So, but anyways, going from Boondock to Hercules. Is that what you said? Hercules, right?
Hercules.
Boondock to Hercules to my number 3. I got the old Denzel. I got a little Training Day. Smoke the PCP, the meth, you got you talk about a movie like King Kong ain't got shit on me. Training Day stuck out, and I think that I was at that age where I was really not old enough to really care, but also old enough to think I was cool because I was watching it. So when I watched it, I thought it was badass. So I remember watching it several times, but I definitely had to get Denzel. Plenty of movies for him, but Training Day definitely makes my list at number 3. So let's see what Disney movie you got at number 3.
I'm starring that because this is the first one you've listed that I've never even heard of. I've never heard of Training Day.
Training Day?
When you said Denzel,
What
I
in the
thought you were gonna
actual
come
fuck?
out with some famous Denzel movie, but you didn't. Training Day. I wrote it down. I'm gonna watch it now. I don't know if it's on Netflix or not, but I never heard of it.
There's
Never
a good chance you can lose your virginity twice to this movie.
have no idea what this movie's about. Okay, going into my number 3. This is my second best
Third.
sports movies. Dodgeball.
That one fell off my list. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. The old average Joes.
Dodgeball is a
Love
great
that movie.
movie.
Little Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I could spit lines of that movie all day. I won't do it here because I'm sure there's probably people that are watching this that could spit more than me. But Dodgeball is a classic. You know what my favorite? It's an underrated scene, but he's holding the dictionary upside down. It's either the dictionary or the Bible or the girl walks in. He's like, "Oh, you caught me reading." There's such I don't know. I think it's funny. It's probably goofy, but
oh man, so that rounds out our top 8. We're gonna get into our top 2 here. I have the luxury of going number 2, and I will tell you right now that I was between 2 movies. And they are too farthest from the type of movie. I'll tell you which one was my number 2, and then I'll tell you later what my number 2 could have been that eventually didn't even make my list. So that's where I was at. So number 2, I got I know, crazy.
All right.
I got a little Brad Pitt in there, and I went the old Fight Club. Fight Club, great movie. Is this another one you're starring you've never heard of?
No, I've heard of Fight Club. I'm right.
Oh,
I'm just writing your list down so I can make a graphic.
Okay. Me dogs. Nothing. Me trailer park. Me mama. You gotta watch the movie if you haven't seen it. These guys are literally like, first rule of Fight Club: you don't talk about it. They're literally making soap out of body fat. I don't even know how to put it all together, how it all makes sense. But these guys are just running. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but running an underground fight club. You got the biggest dorks in the world. And my wife's looking at me like I'm an idiot over here talking about Fight Club. But a good thing she didn't come down here saying we're having a baby because I would have had her ran. But at this point, Fight Club, great movie. A lot of people have seen it. Really getting into it. There's so many variables that make absolutely no sense, but it's a Brad Pitt movie. So interested to see where you go with your number 2.
My number 2 is where Will Ferrell shows up on my list. It's The Other Guys.
Oh boy.
Number
2.
Honest to God, I hadn't seen this movie until about 3 months ago. I watched it, bro. I laughed through the entire thing. Maybe I was too high. I don't know. But I laughed through the entire thing. I've watched it multiple times since. Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell are hilarious in that movie. You even get a little bit of Samuel L. Jackson. It's, bro, he's like, hey, Despot. When was your last Despot? September 08. Dude, it's a classic.
Dude, that's not the one, because didn't they do one together too where they're like stepdads or something like that? Like called Stepdads or something like that?
I don't know about that one. What's it? I don't know what it's called.
I think that. I don't know, but either way, we'll come back to it. But okay, so getting to my number 1, that's where we're at now, right? Number 1.
Number 1. Mine's probably predictable. I want to hear yours first, though.
You've probably never even heard of mine.
Oh God. What was it like
this movie?
Citizen Kane?
No, you definitely heard of that. But this is the second appearance for the old Tom Cruise. But at this point, you still probably don't know where I'm going with this. There is nothing better than Rubbins Racing, the Mellow Yellow, the Hardy's car, little Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder.
Never, right? You never even seen it.
No, is that what it's called? Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder. You're talking when stock cars, before they became like NASCAR, stock cars, Rubbins Racing, these guys, I guarantee you, even if you don't like racing, nothing that pertains to you, it's an entertaining movie. There's a lot in it that you could sit and actually watch.
Why is it called Days of Thunder?
I just think it's the back in the old days when the cars were designed different. I mean, I think that's when him and Nicole Kidman really met and first started dating, and then they got married. Not, I don't know if they were married then or not, but this was like early on, and I don't know, to tell you the truth, Days of Thunder, where it came from, but I think you could definitely put it on, and even the background noise, you'd be okay with it. So try that out. Definitely not something that I would see you just pulling up, but I would definitely think that you've heard of it. But I guess
I'm gonna
not.
check it
So,
out. Maybe I fell asleep to it a couple
so,
times.
drum roll here for the old Zach.
Drum roll, predictable. My number one is Miracle on Ice.
I had it on my list. It bounced out, but yes.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest movies, I think. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm a hockey fan, sports fan in general, but Herb Brooks, I think, is portrayed perfectly. There's so many iconic scenes. There's again where he keeps blowing the whistle and they got to do the drill with the lights off. There's the pregame speech, which gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. Doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. Hockey guy, so this is my consolation for leaving Mighty Ducks off the list, is that I have a hockey movie at number one.
Yeah, I see. You stayed true to where you were. So I like it. So I had a little Days of Thunder, a little NASCAR, and you have the All Miracle. So I would think yours is more so depicting of your background, what you're into. Mine probably maybe not so much, but I will tell you, I've got three that I have honorable mention. I'm sure I'm there's a list it can go on, but I've got two that are honorable mention all the way, and then I've got the one that could essentially been back and forth between my number two spot. Like you said, mind blown. It didn't even make my list, but it was between number two or off the list. So I've got my two honorable mentions. Growing up as a kid, me and my cousins loved watching scary movies. Friday the 13th, we'd binge them. So I got to go with Jason Goes to Hell. That's my honorable mention for one. A normal Jason movie, just a throwback. I think that was one of the best Jason movies that wasn't too cheesy before all the blood and gore and all that stuff got too kicked out. And then one that maybe made your list, maybe not. I thought you would have probably had this at number one, is the old Pineapple Express. You forgot about it.
No, dude, I had Pineapple Express on here, and I didn't know where to fit it in my top 10. It was also on my honorable mention. I'm so pissed right now that I did not put it on my list, because now I want to go watch it right now. Like this, as soon as we log off, I'm gonna go watch the movie.
Oh, dude, I am dying. This has been the best thing ever. We don't even need to talk about sports at this point. We just need to talk about stupid shit.
Dude,
and then, all right, and then my number. Yeah, no, that's why I figured you'd be all in. And I can't even think of, for some reason right now, I can't even think of the other Jonah Hill movie that was like the original before the Pineapple Express with McLovin. Why can't I even think of that right now?
Yeah, Superbad.
Superbad, yeah. So, but then my one that I was teetering back and forth, number two, that fell off my list. It was either going to make it or it was either going to fall, and it didn't make it. Is Nicolas Cage, Gone in 60 Seconds. Everything about Eleanor, I love it. Everything about Eleanor, but she fell off the list. So that's what I got for my honorable mention. You don't have to have three; you can have as many as you want. But that's what really stuck out to me. So what you got for your honorable mention?
Yeah, I got some honorable mention. First of all, I want to say I don't watch anything Nicolas Cage. I think he's the worst actor of all time. I just want to put that on the record because
you ever seen 9mm? Write that down.
No. Dude, I'm honestly telling you, I watched National Treasure, and I will never. I go on Netflix.
Well, yeah, you watch National Treasure. That's a horrible movie.
Nicolas Cage on everything, bro. I hate him. Anyways, my honorable mention: Dark Knight. It's the only. I was gonna stay away from superhero movies, but it's the only superhero movie I'll put on the list. Dark Knight was a great movie. Good Burger. Did you ever watch Good Burger?
Oh yeah, yes.
Good Burger. Welcome to Good Burger Home. Burger. Can I take your order? That's great. Love that movie. And I told you before, the Bourne Supremacy was the best of the Bourne series. I thought overall the Bourne series was probably kind of cheesy, but Bourne Supremacy was good. I thought there were some good action moments in it. But I also, I already mentioned earlier, Top Gun is in my honorable mention. I'm pissed because you put it in there. I'm upset I didn't put it in there. And I also had one Harry Potter movie, the Harry Potter Goblet of Fire. I had on my.
Never seen a Harry Potter movie in my life. Never read a book. Never done anything.
Fair. I mean, it's really at this point, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're either ride or die Harry Potter. Either I tell people that, and it's like they want to fucking light me on fire, or they just say they're in the same boat as me. But whatever.
I like one. The fourth one of the series is the only one I like. I don't care about the other ones. I did read them all and watch them all, but the fourth one's the only good one.
But anyways, there you have it. Mike and Zach Max, top 10. Those are our just top 10 movies. Granted, as we were going through the list, I'm sure we left plenty off, but it was fun to go through. It kind of brings a few things up while you're still in this quarantine mode to kind of search and yes, everything about that just makes me smile right now. So at this point, great top 10 by both of us. I feel like it was very good. I'm interested to see once you get some time to label them out. That way we have them side by side to really see what we had. But I know transitioning quick. We'll talk about it real quick. We talked about the Tiger King being in quarantine. We keep talking about that. Obviously, that's every episode. That's what it's all about. Well, you watched it all, right?
Yes.
So, where are you at? Did you find a character that you really levitated toward? Did you find someone that you really got annoyed by? Did you find somebody that just, I mean, Carol, what's your take on Carol Baskin to start?
Yeah, that bitch Carol Baskin, she definitely killed her husband. I don't think there's any question about that. And I know that she's been complaining since the release of the documentary because it makes her look terrible, probably because she is terrible. Joe Exotic, I was a fan of early. He was a troll of all trolls. Like, he stole their symbol to use his, like, Big Cat Rescue Entertainment. That cracked me up, dude. I was loving this guy early on. I find out later he's a piece of shit as well. It sounds like everyone involved is a piece of shit. The guy that was smuggling cocaine in the belly of snakes, I thought was cool as shit, and he should have got more airtime. But we didn't hear much from him. And also, I want to know your take on the lawyer. Joey, I think he was Joe Exotic's lawyer. But is every single scene he was in, bro, talked like he knew everything. His demeanor was like, oh, yep, nope, Carol's husband? Yep, I know. I'm not going to say it.
They would bring something to the table. Yep, they would bring something to the table, and he already knew.
I want to know his life.
He wasn't going to give you the answer.
Yes,
he wasn't.
Yes.
My thing is Joe Exotic was a POS, but there's a soft side to him that a lot of people like. But nobody talks about Jeffrey Lowe and how big of a con artist that guy really was.
Oh, yeah, he set Joe up, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and he even openly talks about it. But then you got the little the little fat dude with the bowl haircut, looking like Chucky. That every character, like you said, every character in the show was the perfect train wreck. There was not a single person in the show. And then now I'm hearing about there's stuff coming out, obviously, about the producer and how he put his life work in this. Joe burned it to hell, blah blah. He ended up leaving town. The reason they filmed that where I think what did he go to the Netherlands or something stupid like that was because they're saying it wasn't proven that he lit his house on fire and stuff like that of arson. But either way, like you said, every character, all the way down to Carol Baskin's second or third, I don't know what he's considered, the husband. That dude was weird.
He's a prick.
There's not a single person in the show that you look at, like the one guy I seriously felt bad for, of all things that I thought was like straight and narrow to some degree, was the dude that had no legs.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
He was the only one that just kind of got wrapped up into it, and he's just like, and then they just showed him kind of moving on with his life,
Yep.
his life into racing, and that was it.
Yeah, he was the only one that was like semi-normal. Did you hear that
But
Joe Exotic was in coronavirus isolation?
seriously,
Yes, he was at a
I'm just
prison
like,
that had cases of coronavirus. But he got transferred to some other prison, so then he was in isolation there because the previous prison he was at had coronavirus. It turns out I don't think he's tested either way, so we don't know if he's positive or negative. But he's out of isolation now. But he was in it for a little bit.
God, what a way of all things that he did in his life, the people that he manipulated, the money he made to see a guy. Not saying he's going to, but if that were the final straw in the guy's
I
case,
heard that. I heard they're working on a Tiger King too. There's gonna be a sequel. It,
they've
can we
got to.
also
They've
can
got
we
to.
also mention how how wild his eyebrows are? Like he always looks like he's pissed off.
That, and the best part is I read some stuff you had mentioned earlier off air about the podcast that came out with like damning evidence, the dude that knew everything, and come to find out, the campaign manager that just kind of came on in the middle that ended up watching his husband shoot himself in the head was just like a guy that he met at Walmart that said, "Hey Joe, I really like blah blah. I really appreciate what you do." And Joe, and I guess he was like a gay guy, not that it mattered, but Joe ended up hiring him and bringing him on his campaign just because. And it's like,
Yeah.
wow, like what the hell? I don't know what kind of money was involved or whatnot, but I mean that's here nor there. That's just our little two cents here, but overall, Zach, we're running about 40 minutes, a little longer than we usually do, but that's what when you find a topic to really talk about. This is how bad it is without sports. I feel like talking about movies, like I said, just kind of. Hopefully, you guys see this episode and you say, "Oh man, I forgot about that movie." Write it down, like Zach was talking about, and just start watching. But overall, again, I appreciate you being here, Zach. We were supposed to have KJ on. Good thing we didn't because this episode would never ended. I know he's full of hot air. So, but anything else you'd like to add to the old public here?
Nothing, man. Nothing's going on other than Steve. I don't know if you saw, but Stephen A. Smith. I don't. Okay, I know you're a big Twitter guy, so you probably seen Stephen A. Smith's got this guy that's a burner account. It's not associated with Stephen A.
Yeah,
Smith,
and he
but
said not endorse Stephen A. Smith, and then Stephen A.
yeah,
Smith
yeah.
retweeted. Yeah,
So yeah, Stephen A. Smith finally interacts with him and says like, blah blah blah. He said, so that was cool. That was funny, but other than that, man, no, there's not shit. I'm sitting here talking about Stephen A. Smith's burner account, dude. There's not shit going on.
How about you guys? What's going on with you and KJ's world? What are you guys doing with Puck Puck Pass lately?
So we're playing a bunch of Warzone. If you guys want to, you can literally go to Puck Puck Pass Pod. If you play Warzone, go to Puck Puck Pass Pod. Comment on one of our tweets. It doesn't matter which one. Say, I want in. We have an open Discord channel. You can join our Discord. You can play with us when we're on. It's so easy. We've had a couple people on the Twitch channel watching us, so that's fun. Head to, I think it's Belly Up Gaming on Twitch. If you just
Yeah, we
search
just
Belly
switched
Up
it
Gaming.
to Belly Up Gaming. Yep.
Yeah, you can find us on
And
Twitch.
at Belly Up Gaming on Twitter as well.
Yeah, okay. So at Belly Up Gaming on Twitter, at Puck Puck Pass Pod on Twitter, and on YouTube, I think it's still Belly Up. We're posted on the Belly Up YouTube? I'm not sure which YouTube it is, but go to Belly Up Sports YouTube. You can find it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll find everything there. These guys are, again, without sports, everybody's trying to do a lot of things, a lot of esports, a lot of iRacing. We're definitely adapting. Puck Puck Pass leading the way. Appreciate those guys between Zach and KJ doing great stuff. So get on board. Give them you guys support. They're doing a lot of fun stuff. So Zach, I appreciate tonight. It was a lot of fun. Definitely a different episode. Had a lot of fun with it. Looking forward to comparing our lists between the two, and
we're gonna have to do like top 10 songs or something. Like what? Like how do we follow this up?
I mean, what song did you?
I didn't. That's impossible. Yeah, doing top 10 songs is impossible.
I don't know. I'm just. I think I'm gonna go throw in Boondock Saints right now. But all right, you guys have a good night. Zach, Mac, myself, you guys have a good one. Take it easy.
See you.